Okay,
Thank
so
you.
someone is about to take some Yoruba lectures right now. Go ahead.
Please, before I continue, take note. My name is Alero. I am not Yoruba.
That's what I see you are in for. You are in class.
Residents of communities in Isheri, Arekpo, Lafenwa, Warewa, and other adjoining areas along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Ogun State were thrown into panic on Monday following a flood scare due to the release of water from the Oyan River Dam by the Ogun-Osun River. According to the management of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development, well, the MD is right here. The water released is to ensure the safety of lives and property in Kara, Ikosiketu, Mile 12, Ajegunle, Owode, Odo Ogun, Agboyiketu, local government development areas.
Local council development.
Local council development.
See, you didn't miss the names, you missed that one. Why? Anyway, go ahead.
It was too much effort trying to pronounce those names properly. Well, nobody is frowning, so I must have got all of them right. So it's my pleasure to introduce the Managing Director and CEO of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development Authority, Dr. Adedeji Ashiru. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
And thank you for joining us. And we also have Mr. Dayo Ayondoku, Chairman of Oshorun Estate, Opik Estate.
Good morning.
Sherry, good morning.
It's good to be here.
We only see you when there's floods.
Well, I would have wished I'm here for a different reason. I was here last year. China is a good neighbor, so to say, and it's always good to be here. But I would have wished to be here
for other things.
For other things, not
apart from the flood. Okay, I'm glad that we have the CEO of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development Authority with us. I mean, he's going to tell us exactly what happened.
Oh, what
Dr.
happens?
Ashiru.
Good morning. Nice having me here today. I think that being a kind of a misconception about the water release from Oyan Dam. I resumed the office as a CEO, I think in May this year. And what we've done, or my resumption, is to release water gradually from the dam. And it's so interesting that while those releases were going on for the past 5 months, there was no flooding in the sharing. Now, it's scientific in a way because the Oyan Dam is built for so many things. And one of the main functions of the Oyan Dam so today is flood and erosion control. And I must say that the leaders that concept the idea, shared the idea of building the Oyan Dam has done very well. We touch Oyan Dam today, I can tell you, the Sherry community, part of Abeokuta, especially the Sherry community that's on a floodplain, will have been totally consumed. That will not be a sharing. That you must give kudos for us having Oyan Dam. Having said that, Oyan Dam is a transboundary. The river that comes from Oyan Dam, which is the Oyan River, is transboundary river, and the Ogun River is also transboundary as well. Downstream of the Oyan Dam, we have 52 tributaries, ungated. There are rivers that are not gated, which means that once there is inflow, it just flows. There is no control. Whereas Oyan Dam is the only gated river dam that flows into Ogun River. And what that has done for us and for the entire community is it has controlled the amount of flood that should have water that should have come downstream, coming from upstream. It also been interesting to know that this year alone we have released 1.7 billion cubic meter of water. I repeat.
Without any flooding?
Yes, 1.7 billion cubic meter of water. The capacity of Oyan Dam is just 270 million. And we'll be able to do a gradual release based on the Lament prediction, based on our data, past data, and release gradually. In the month of May, we release. You want to ask something?
So what happened on Monday that there was flooding?
On Monday, there was flooding. I mentioned earlier that two tributaries, which are downstream Oyan Dam, which Oyan Dam has no control over. Okay. Therefore, if there's any, I've said it over and over again since my resumption in office, if there is, if I make part of it boldly, saying that if I have to just look at Oyan Dam alone, I can guarantee there will not be any flooding downstream, which is sharing. But what happened on Monday, right? Now the inflow that comes from the upstream was high, right? And as of that Monday, the Oyan Dam, we've created reservoir capacity, which as of today, we still have capacity of about 48% capacity in the reservoir. Our gates, we have 4 gates for flood control. 4 of the gates, the radial gates, only 2 have been opened since May. And those 2 gates are open at 12%.
Only?
Only. 12% only. We have other 2 gates still closed today. Have not been open since May, since I resumed. As of yesterday, the gate release is about 11.9 or 11.89%. Meaning that if you go to Oyan Dam this morning for inspection, now we still have capacity to hold about almost 120 million cubic meter of water.
Okay. Mr. Ayodeho, what happened to your estate this week?
Okay.
The last time we saw you, this whole area was underwater.
Okay. Thank you again for being here. And let me start by congratulating my friend and my brother, Dr. Ashiru, for his new role. I think he's a welcome development. He's somebody I know that he will do justice to a lot of things that is happening there. Now, coming back to the perennial flood in our community, like I said in my exchange when we came in, I would have wished to be here for a different reason. Unfortunately, we are here
for the same reason.
For the same reason. To put it in context, people within this community dread the months called October and November. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when will the flood come. So we've lived with it for quite a number of years now. The question on our mind is, first and foremost, we've moved away from blaming game. Oh, it should be this, it should be that. The approach we have adopted 2 years back is more of collaborative. There's a problem that needed to be solved. We need to bring all the stakeholders and sincerely solve that problem. I think that is our objective, our view for the past 2 years. So what happened is what we expected to have happened. The sad part of it is the kind of harrowing experience that people go through that period. This period, businesses, activities shut down. At an aggravated level, a lot of people have to move from their houses, lose material. I brought some video of what the situation is in this community as we speak. I'm not only talking about my estate, which is a Oshorun estate. I'm talking about the whole community. Just like 30 minutes ago, I was, wading through water with the executive of ISECOM because they are visiting every estate to know the extent of the the flood. So just 30 minutes ago,
How bad was the flooding in Osun on Monday?
It wasn't bad, but we woke up this morning because we've been trying to manage it, you know. To put it in context again, in the last 12 months, we've deployed a lot of resources because we expect this to happen. Things like improving our draining point, we've installed new non-return valves. We have to invest in pumping machine. Infrastructurally, we've also continued our embankment of the estate perimeter. We've also at some time have to raise the road level. You know, these are some of the investment that we have put in place in the last 12 months. Yourself. And it's not only in our estate, it is in the entire community.
You know, let me ask you, based on what your friend, Dr. Ashiru, said earlier, that they'd been trying to do this for about 5 months, there was no issue. Was there, do you think, can you trace any development, any improvement from previous years?
Okay. That's why I started by saying it is no longer a blaming game. Now,
no, I'm just asking so that if, in case there are things that he needs to know, so that he will take them on going forward.
I would rather, at his best, we might not see much improvement. At his best of his own effort or the effort of his team, we might not see much improvement. He has highlighted some of the.
And why is that?
Because from what he has said, by the way, the problem, the challenges, and the solution for this entire flood scenario are well documented. There are reports that have been commissioned. There are both by World Bank.
Which area is this on the screen? Just a second. Which area is this on the screen, Mr.?
This is somewhere opposite GRA. I've forgotten. Okay, this is inside my own estate this morning. This is this morning's.
This morning?
Yes. This is this morning. I think there will be some other.
Has it been raining?
It's not been raining. So that is the point. The level of the Kara River has been rising over the weeks. Okay. Many of the estate borders the river. So as the water level in the river rises, it will find its way into the drainage. Then from there,
can I speak to that?
Okay.
Now, I mentioned that Ogun River is a transboundary river.
Yeah.
Meaning that if there's rain in Port Novo, if there's rain in Shaki, heavily,
or even
as
those
outside Port Novo, right, the water, the inflow from the upstream will come down to the side, to the Ogun River. And I said there are tributaries that feed Ogun River. Therefore, the water from outside the country still flow into Ogun River. Now, we may not probably be experiencing rain here in the country like this morning. That's rightly said, no rain this morning, and they woke up and they find this. And as of this morning, right, we've reduced the gate opening to about 11.8%. And we still have capacity, about 42% reservoir capacity to absorb water from upstream.
Is it likely, I'm sorry, this is just my brain working, is it likely that from what you have said now, the flooding that we've experienced up country is also part of the supply?
Exactly, yeah, absolutely.
Kogi and other parts?
Absolutely. You see, as a responsible government, what the federal government have done recently is to find a way of, bringing kind of a relief to people in this community, and that's why Mr. President approved the dredging of the Ogun River. We know that Ogun River is one of the major problems because it's a transboundary river. By dredging that river, that was flagged off about 4 weeks ago. We flagged that project off. We want to do the dredging in phases to create capacity, even in Ogun River, to take those inflow from the upstream. But I must say, we need to be very frank here, the entire of the sharing is on a floodplain.
So human beings shouldn't be living here?
Should not be living there. I mean, what government should do at this time, in honesty...
Excuse me, here where we are now?
Yes, you are in a floodplain.
Okay,
And that's the reality. And we must say the truth. Even whatever we are doing now, whatever measures we are putting in place now, is just a form of palliative.
So where are you going to evacuate us to? Don't answer that question.
Okay, so...
and I suppose that goes for Shonru Estate as well.
Yes, I think we've been hearing that for years, that we are on the floodplain. And like I said, we are not here for blaming games. But let me say, one of the most documented and flood situation that has received government attention over the years is this community. Remember in 2010, Governor Goodluck Jonathan was here.
Governor?
Sorry, President Goodluck. Please pardon me for that. President Goodluck Jonathan was here in person, and he flew over this entire area to have a sense of what is going on. And subsequent government has also been, coming around. It has become a kind of a jamboree, kind of. The only president that I know, probably, if my memory serves me, that wasn't here is President Muhammadu Buhari. But all throughout his tenure, he always sent people here. Just last year, we were in this studio, and thankfully, even if you don't do anything, at least show empathy. We thank Governor of Ogun State, President Dapo Abiodun. He was here 2 days after we made his appearance. He came with all the commissioners. A few days after, the federal might also, came here. 3 ministers were around. So we've seen this year in, year out, and we're having this fatigue of, people turning our plight into, I'm not saying it negatively, but it has become a yearly occurrence. What we want is a solution. There are solutions to this. Yes, maybe Oyan Dam might be a contributor to what is happening. Like you mentioned, there are other sources of water that comes here. We need to look at the solution rather than this blaming game. There are short-term, medium-term, and long-term solutions to this. And I think over the year, why we are still stuck where we are is because we've always been, hugging the short-term solution. Short-term is just palliative, just to wait through that situation. But what are you doing to put a permanent solution to this? And they are well documented. People in government are aware. The willpower to bite the bullet, I think that is what is lacking here.
Mr. Ayodoku,
yes.
If you recall, when you were here last year, that flooding was the worst I had seen in this area since channels moved to this location, which means that compared to last year, this year is already better.
Can you say that?
We are in the middle of, almost at the end of October already, and we have not seen flooding like we saw last year.
I almost shared the same excitement you were a few days back until we woke up. You see, we can't put a time stamp on it. Oh, it will come by 1 p.m. If you allow me to make this point. We can't put a time stamp. Definitely, like I said, we know it will come.
But it may not. We're approaching the end of October.
Okay, so that's what we felt, what we thought. And we can see some video here. Like I said, you see, there are short-term, long-term,
what's the short-term solution?
Short-term is what we've always been doing. Okay, which is what he said, let us manage the release of water. It's short-term.
Medium-term?
Medium-term are things infrastructure you need to put on ground. I have a couple of things here.
So you respond to each one of them.
So he mentioned dredging is part of, it depends on where you are dredging. It's part of, either short or medium term. Dredging is very important because when you widen those tributaries or the river bed,
because the Bar Beach hasn't been over flooded in how many years now, and it's all thanks, I think, partly to the dredging.
Yes, so that's why we are aligning, but we might not converging at this point. The point I'm trying to make is that yes, dredging is part of it. I also must appreciate the leadership in this community, and that is very important, if you allow me. This is a very organized community. There's a group called Synergy Group, and thanks to the gentlemen there, I'm sure they've probably met with the leadership of Oyan Dam, people like Engineer Smith and Engineer Faladay, if I'm correct, and also the chairman of Visecom, and all the... So what we have done in the last 12 months, it's not as if we've gone to bed since the last incident. We've been, and thanks to Ogun State government, they were able to provide us with swamp boogie that did opened up some of this channel, that helped. We were there for like almost 3 months.
You haven't really told us what this medium solution you are proposing.
Okay, so part of the medium solution is also dredging. But beyond dredging, on this axis, wherever the water is coming from, there must be a form of dike, around this place. Okay. Water we always find is
guide the water away from residential.
To where it should be. That
was a long term.
Yeah, long term for me is we need to review the objective of Oyan Dam. Like you mentioned, I've been to the dam a couple of times. Oyan Dam is for several purposes. It's for flood control. It's for aquaculture, which is for rearing of fish and the rest. It's for irrigation. It's for supply of water to both Lagos and Ogun. If I'm wrong, please correct me. At this critical point, well, those ideas were conceived to serve all those multipurpose. At this critical point, and with this recurrent issue of flooding, is it not time for us to recalibrate what the objective, this main objective of that is number one, that is long term. The other long term is that we need to have an overlay of another dam.
Okay.
Because
that will reduce the pressure.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
well,
I think those are some of the things I will...
Before you respond, I need to ask him one more question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you in dialogue with them?
We've always been. It just resumed. The previous
April, May,
MD,
June, July, August, September, October, 7 months.
Yes, like I mentioned,
okay,
a couple of our people have met with. I'm sure they've met with you,
leadership of your community,
the leadership of the community, and they were being in constant communication. And give it to one of the short-term medium is also. Short-term solution is to communicate the release of water, and that has been done effectively.
Okay.
The reason why I said we focus on the short term, so as to alleviate the problem on ground as at that point, but we've not beaten the bullet for those medium and long-term solutions.
Well, you don't also think that the controlled release is talked about earlier was helpful?
It will help, but there's a limitation to that. And from what he has also said, if you control what is coming from Oyan Dam, how about other sources?
Okay.
As long, I must say this, as long as the focus is on Oyan Dam, then I can tell you there will not be any solution to a sharing. Okay. That's the truth.
Where should the focus be?
The focus, we should look at it globally and look at what is the solution. Now, when you focus on Oyan Dam as a problem to the flooding, then you have already, if you cannot identify the problem, if you have a wrong identification of the problem, then you can't provide a solution.
Part of the reason you said there are other tributaries.
Right?
Okay.
There's something
which are
said
controlled,
about building another dam.
Okay.
Right? That has not to do with, see, I came here with this drainage map showing the meteorological and rainfall stations, right? You can see somewhere here, you have the Oyan Dam, you have the Oyan River somewhere here, and you have the Ogun River, which I said transboundary river. Now, the Oyan Dam was to collect was built to collect all the water coming from the Oyan River from the transboundary. That dam, yes, is built somewhere around here. It's 217 million cubic meter of capacity, right? As of this morning, we have excess capacity in the dam as of this morning, which is over 100 million cubic meter of water. But you see, downstream of Oyan Dam, we have other rivers, other tributaries, which is not gated. Therefore, the focus we should leave Oyan Dam. But having said that, as a responsible government, what we have done also is this, in terms of water usage for irrigation. Now, to also help with the flow of water upstream before we even get to Oyan Dam, we have a place called Bansa. In our 2025 budget, we are doing a massive irrigation project in Bansa, which we've already put in the budget for 2025. To also, I mean, that's for the water usage, so that the water that is coming upstream, even before getting to Oyan Dam or to Ogun River, that water can be channeled. Also in 2025 budget, we have weirs. We are building, we are constructing weirs. Those weirs are also to slow down the flow of water down to the sharing. Somewhere in Mokolokin, we have a weir in Mokolokin. And we have irrigation projects also in Mokolokin. Now, the reason also for that, the reason of the weir is to also slow down the flow of water, even when you release water from Oyan Dam, to slow it down. That water there in the weir in Mokolokin, the Olorun power plant, is also taken from that water for the cooling of their power plants. Now, the government is doing a lot to give, just a medium solution.
Which doesn't seem to be affecting their lives.
Yes.
They still have flooding.
Because the management of the estate, right, I mean, they've commended the effort that Ogun River Basin have put in, since my resumption in office. We've had meetings with them. Part of also the medium solution, term solution, is the dredging of the Ogun River, which we've already commissioned. The contract has been awarded. We did a flag off. Currently now, they are doing the survey of the river. By next week, the contractor will move to site. I want to commend Mr. President for this. It's going to be in different phases, But as I said, all these are medium-term solution.
So,
now, the passage,
be patient.
Passage for the water flow. When you have structure built on the water channel, here in the area, right, people have built houses on the channel. There were some houses has to go.
But doctor, I'm sure they have C of O.
Beyond that,
well,
somebody approved the building of those properties.
Exactly.
Well, that is left for the state government. Either if they are on the Ogun State side or they are on the Lagos State side. For the fact, madam, for the fact that somebody has built a house, we see what is happening in Lagos. Happened in Lagos recently, that people build on the water channel, and they claim they have CFO. Until the Lagos State government, as a responsible government, moving and said, you have built on canals, you have no CFO here. People get CFO through back door. Doesn't mean that people have built a house, mean that they have a CFO. We need to establish that. And I think, this also may probably cause the Lagos State government or state government to go into, to investigate and see if people truly have a CFO, the right to build on the water channel.
Okay, so I think that rhetoric has always been there. People build on water channel. And I don't think in many of the cases it's accurate. You see,
That's why I said we
don't think it is true that people built on water channels?
That might not be accurate. Because we've
Has
had
there ever any government official come to do some kind of audit?
People come in every day. Government officials come in every day. People get their building approval. They're still getting building approval every day. Now, the point is this. You see, I wouldn't want us to go into that area of we're throwing.
What if it's so? I'm sorry.
Okay.
What if indeed it's, Dr. Ashiru is correct that some people built on floodplain,
then the government should,
water channels?
The law take its course. But I'm saying it categorically. Let us look at the water.
Take its course.
Yes, let us look at the course of the river. I don't know.
How? But he also heard, is there validity in what he said that there are 52 ungated, unmanned, uncontrollable tributaries?
Valid.
Yes, you can see them here.
But now we are converging to a point of solution.
Yeah.
I said over the years.
And we have to converge quickly because we have less than 2 minutes.
Okay, so I've said over the time, we've had the good communication on the water release. Those data were provided, but that has not taken away the problem. We've mentioned here, he also said a lot of those tributaries are not gated. What's the solution? Gated or divert the dynamics of the water to something that is more useful? Let me say lastly here, when you say people are on the floodplain, people are already here, and on their home, they've made a lot of effort to make this place livable. We are making a simple request from government, and those are not too much. Do a band wall. You have a river course that is going. Each estate has been investing in that. Can government come in and do something along that line? Dredge the water dredge the river like you are doing. These are things that are well documented. I think we need to come to subnational level. And I think this area should be a joint venture project between Lagos and Ogun. I understand where building needs to go. Unfortunately, maybe for the sanity of everybody, it has to go. But I seriously doubt if that is so significant or that will impact or change. There are other high impact
I think I'm very happy that you said something that, there's been some kind of resolution sorts that whatever needs to give. I remember the Commissioner for the Environment in Lagos having to go from one place to the other. And they had to pull down not just houses. They had to pull down estates.
Whole estates.
In some cases. Yes. Because they were on the floodplain. Because they were on water channels. Now, if that existed, and some people are doing things that they shouldn't have done in the first place, the fact that it is wrong, and it has subsisted for 50 years, does not make it right. Someone can come one day and say, look, we need to put things right.
What we're against is that blanket statement that people have lived here.
What if it is correct? That's the point.
If it is correct,
yes.
The extent is like you mentioned, if you are solving the wrong
essentially
problem.
you are saying that the government should rewrite. Sorry, sir. You are saying that the government should rewrite the plan, the physical planning, whatever of the state, simply because some people did something right, and it's going to cost them.
That's not what I'm saying. I've said the law should take its course where people build the wrong places. Okay, let it take the course. But I'm saying that issue is being magnified. It's being overemphasized. And if we
have you seen the state's physical planning map?
We don't have a problem with that. That's the point I'm trying to make. But if you stay on that problem alone...
I'm just asking.
No, I'm
not. Can I just say something? We just...
In closing?
Yes, okay, in closing, let me say this, that we just carried out a detailed study of the entire area. You have a floodplain map of this entire area, and you are sitting deep on the sea.
On the floodplain.
On the floodplain. I'm telling you that. If I would need a government, right, with a political will to take that decision to relocate everyone in this area.
We're not going anywhere. Don't even come there.
Including channel television.
We're not going anywhere. We're going to stay here. You guys are going to have to spend
Dr. Ashiru.
Let's just close.
Now we know who our enemies are. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Ogun River Basin Development Authority, Dr. Adedeji Ashiru, as well as Dr. Mr.
Yes.
Dayo Ayondoku, Chairman, Oshonu Estate, Opik, Lagos. Thank you very much.
It's a
I mean,
pleasure
this
being here.
discussion is going to go on because from what you said, you are expecting floods ahead. And I'm sure as soon as the floods start, if there's any flood that the kind that happened last year, I'm sure we're going to be talking to you again very soon. And we're going to bring
I hope not.
Dr. Ashiru to come and answer your questions.
Dr. Ashiru
But
will
we
probably
pray
come.
that we do not have that kind of flood
Dr.
ever
Ashiru
again in this area.
will probably come with caterpillars. We're back right after now to stay with us.